Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sonrisa Dance Podcast. Again, still through web chats because quarantine still sucks. And so, yes, today I was gonna have kind of a special episode. I wanted to have more of a, not really an interview, but more of a discussion and a starting of a discussion because this topic is a little bit more of a difficult one and one that even with my guest here, we'll have a bit of a limited perspective. Again, we're both just straight males dating in the dance scene, and our topic today will be about dating. But before I get into all that, I just wanted to briefly thank and introduce my good friend Brandon Ortega. He's a friend of mine that I've met through dancing. We met through the social dance scene, the college dance scene specifically, back when we were really going out and about supporting our schools. And luckily, we all met through our little close group of friends because we're all going to the same events, trying to rep our schools. And so, but even now, like we spend time hanging out outside of dancing, and even he's one of my good friends from our little goals group where we really strive to be better people and to do more things and really try to motivate each other to achieve our goals. But yes, thank you again, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Nick. I'm glad to be here.
And thank you for again helping me start this discussion. And obviously, first and foremost, again, I definitely want to reiterate that again that this is something that it's just the start of a discussion, and I would really love to have more of you out who are listening and watching to really get back to this either this video or this audio wherever you find it, and comment or leave us more thoughts on what your own experiences are about the things we're about to talk about. But yeah, specifically first, I wanted to get started off by just kind of like going over with Brandon about just a general view and our experiences in dating in the dance community, and even how that relates to uh, dating outside of it, and how that is different, similar, and sometimes even better, or even sometimes worse. Um, but I guess one big interesting thing is just just like meeting people, it's very interesting to go about. Like dating will eventually happen, even if we're just kind of going out and about having fun with our friends. I don't know if how many times you've experienced like even when you're not dating somebody and you're just single and you're just always riding around with friends. Like if anyone thinks you're like dating some of our close friends just because we're always in the same car together.
Mm, Yeah. Oh, me personally, I
Hmm.
haven't. Well, more because like at least the people that I do have on social media, like from the dance
Hmm.
scene, like it's not very frequent that I'm with you guys since just because of distance. Since you guys are like
Hmm.
in like more of the orange, more towards like the Orange County area, and I'm more towards like San Fernando Valley, like LA
Yeah.
area.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, there's definitely still like quite a few of you that ride around. But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's nice that you guys haven't really experienced that. I'm like trying to remember. I know there's like even like even some of our close friends. I think in the past, like I used to give rides a lot to like Jen and like Isabel and things like that. And even at times when I
Mhm.
was like, again, I'm like trying to date some of them, and like we're just giving rides because I'm just trying to be nice. Uh, uh, People would just like think like, "Hey, are you seeing this person?" I'm like, "I'm just being nice and giving rides."
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but I have gotten that a few
I'll have you.
times, especially like especially more towards because I was in salsa libre like my last
Hmm.
semester when I was at CSUN,
Hmm.
and Becky being like one of my closest
Hmm.
friends, both physically and like in terms of
Hmm.
friendship, like we'd be with each other all the time, like I'd help her like with planning, sometimes planning with like our salsa libre like practices or like just going out like to either to the gym or getting food or like just studying
Hmm.
together. And like half the time my teammates are like, "Yo, what's going on with you and Becky?" I'm like, "We're just like good friends. Like why?" And it's like you're with her all the time. Like yeah, because she's like I've known her for like what like 6 years
Yeah.
now, and then like ever since like I was like taking lessons at PCC since CJ like Becky and all of them were over there, and they actually helped teach me like get into the
Hmm.
scene.
No, yeah, but I'm assuming that's something that happened more, just like me, like at the early start of like us, like when the franchise first started. Like it's not really a thing we
Yeah.
see anymore.
Or the people that just didn't know about
Hmm.
it because like I said, like I only joined salsa, like I knew some of the people from Salsa Libre, but the people that join the same time as me, they're like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "Nothing."
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyone who's new or just doesn't know or doesn't like know
yeah,
your friendship, that's
mm,
just kind of funny how that comes up. I think it's also just because uh, I mean, those general thoughts just kind of happen even in non-dancing stuff, like when you just spend a lot of
yeah,
time with like another person of the sex that you're attracted to. Like again, if this happens just for us, just because we're straight guys, and so anytime we're around a lady and we're single, people are like, "Oh, are you seeing this person?"
yeah,
Oh God, but I mean, I think because it's dancing is nice because it allows us to break down some of those like kind of barriers that are a little more difficult than like traditional like meeting people or even starting to date because we
mhm,
actually do get a lot of more like physical touch and things like that that not everyone is super comfortable with if they're not from dancing.
yeah, and also it's a perfect
Mhm.
icebreaker because like one of the hardest things for people to do, like in at least from my point, from my
Mhm.
perspective, is just finding the courage to like go up and like talk to
Mhm.
someone. Like let's just say you're at a bar and you see like you're like, oh, there's this cute girl like over at the bar, like how all the different thoughts come in, like how should I approach it? Should I buy her a drink, or like how can I do this without being creepy?
Yeah.
But like if you're in the dance scene, all you have to do is like, hey, would you like to dance? And then if they say yes, then cool, you get to dance. If not, then no worries, like no hard feelings. And then like when you do, if you do get the dance, after the dance, like most of the time, like they'll either say thank you or like, oh, like that was a really good dance, and then like they want to know more about you. So
Mhm.
that takes that. So like it's a lot easier in the dancing because the rejection doesn't hurt as much
Yeah.
because your intention is to get a dance as opposed to like if you're at a bar or just like any other function, and then you're gonna get turned down like because like you approached it as opposed to like hey, okay, I didn't get a dance, like that's okay, like there's other people there to like ask to dance.
Yeah, and it gets rid of like that more like again if someone approaches you at a bar or somewhere else, it's like a lot of times like it's a very like cold like start. You don't know anything about them. You have no like interaction with them except for like when you actually decide to go up to them. um and with dancing, yeah, like it just breaks that ice. It makes it a little easier, uh whether again you're trying to hit on somebody or just trying to like create a new friend and just try to talk to them. Like it's just easier because you already have that hobby, you're already dancing together. So you feel a little more comfortable to even engage another person at all. um, Still, sometimes it's still a little like, especially if you're attracted to them, like if you're gonna try to ask
Yeah.
them out, it's still like that can still be a little nerve wracking. But at least I feel like it might be a little easier than you know, asking somebody randomly at a bar or like wherever people meet. I don't know. I don't really know dating very
Yeah.
well outside of dancing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
but I definitely I don't know
Yeah.
for you. Like I don't know how like you when you like first start to date somebody. I don't know how you feel about that difference because I don't really have experience on that end.
Yeah. 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 Well, I think the main thing is like at least right now, like with everything that's going on, like most people are meeting on like dating apps like
Mm,
Tinder and
mhm,
stuff. So I think the easiest part about that kind of dating is that you're not seeing face to face rejection
mhm,
because like if you're at a bar like with your friend and like hey I'm gonna shoot my shot with this
mhm.
girl at but then but then your friends see you get like shot down and then you're gonna be ragged on for the rest of the night as opposed to like if if you meet if you match with someone like on a dating app, like you don't get that face to face like rejection, and then like you can't be ridiculed because like it's on your phone, so people think you're just like looking something up or
Yeah,
texting as opposed to like your friends seeing you like physically get rejected, or like or like some dude comes over like hey, like you talking to my girl, like okay, my bad,
yeah,
I'll step back.
yeah. I mean that's just a general like issue of like going up to somebody just in public because you don't know it's not like obvious when someone's in a relationship if they're not with their partner at the when you like see them versus a dating app because again they're on there to date. So
Yeah,
but yeah, that's kind of funny. When that kind of happens and that mix up like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make like upset you, like I didn't know you were like dating somebody, or
yeah,
or even then like when like again, even more confusion when people are thinking like, oh, are you like when you're just trying to talk to somebody, and they're like, they're dating somebody. I'm like, I'm just talking, and I'll find that out. Don't worry. If I'm hitting on them,
Yeah.
I'll find out.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like there's times where it does feel a little easier just because, again, you've already broken that like harder thing of like physical touch isn't something that comes along when you're like dating or starting to talk to somebody and going on dates and stuff until a little bit later. It like gradually grows because again, you don't feel comfortable physically touching another person until you're a little close to
Yeah.
them. And I feel like dancing kind of
Hmm.
already sort of breaks that barrier a little bit during the dating phase.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely does, and it's like um like you said, like it's easier to like at least when you're dancing, like in the land, at least in the social
Mhm.
dancing, you're actually getting their consent before like you even dance with
Yes.
them, as opposed to like if you're with a club and next thing you know like you just run up behind a girl and like start dancing with her and she'll be like what are you doing,
Yeah.
like get away from me.
It's a little more tricky than like, is that even consensual to dance up to somebody when again there's
Hmm.
no verbal like we have to actually like that's the nice thing about with dancing we have that etiquette like oh would you like to dance you have to ask somebody at least if
Yeah.
you're being a good person
Mhm.
not being one of those assholes who
Yeah.
just like grabs somebody drags them
Yeah.
onto the dance floor.
Yeah. Yeah, and also being chivalrous, like actually like physically asking to dance instead of like just looking out on the dance floor looking for a spot and like just putting your hand out
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah, that's
yeah.
really rude. Yeah, like even if you're like coldly asking, like you mentioned, just not even looking
Hmm.
at them, like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't
Hmm.
know. That's so bad. But yeah, no, it's nice to kind of have like already a good structure of like meeting people just in general, because of like the etiquettes that are kind of like already there in dancing. Um, but well, yeah, what do you call it? And then even then, like you kind of even because of that opportunity is like there because we see a lot of the dancers a lot every time we go to
Hmm.
certain socials like if they're weekly venues or monthly venues. um
Yeah.
it's nicer because you already have like oh I see you all the time. It's easier to start a relationship that way because you're already constantly seeing them. um and not only that but even the way you guys dance can also I feel like it can say a little bit more about like what you're feeling sometimes. Like again, there's some people can feel really comfortable doing more of a sensual dance, but it like means emotionally nothing to them. And then some people you can tell like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they're feeling each other on the dance floor.
Yeah. 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 Like that's the only thing about like social dance and like conventional dating. Like when like when you are in the social dancing, like those lines might blur for some
Mhm.
people, as opposed to like in the conventional. Like if someone's dancing like that with you at the club, then you know like something's probably gonna
Yeah,
happen. Like probably 90% of the
yeah,
time. But as opposed to like the social dancing, like it's just one song, and then you guys either like say goodbyes or like you guys talk or whatever happens after she gets asked to dance by another person, and then it's over.
yeah. And you're right. There and again leading into more sometimes miscommunication or just confusion of like some people there's sometimes where I like to reference there's people have like dance crushes for like you just have really fun even sometimes sexy dances with people but then you're like okay cool thank you and just like walk away like it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean
Exactly.
much. And then even then like again everyone's different like I know uh, uh, we had like a little Zoom chat with some of our friends recently. I don't remember if you were there for it, but uh, one of our friends even mentioned like when she dances, she like she can never feel like it's like something for her. Like she's like I don't know how people feel any kind of like emotion in a dance because she's like for me this is dance and this is all it ever is. Versus some of us
Hmm.
who like we're like no we can definitely feel like sexy and like we like that connection with a
Yeah.
partner. So I mean everyone's kind of different with that.
Yeah, yeah, like she said, it's all about perspective. Like some of us like when we dance, like sort of like wear our heart on our sleeve, like whatever emotions we're feeling, like with the song, with our partner, with the dance, is like it's all visible. Like with her, it might be like visible, like she's having like time of her
Hmm.
life, but like to her, it's just dance. As opposed like some of us dance for connection or like not just like physical connection, but also like the emotional like
Hmm.
musicality connection. Because some of the songs like we feel like more than others. Like as like if you're dancing like Dominican as opposed to like those slower like sensual songs, like Dominican, you're not going to be like just like close
Yeah.
position like all the time, like kazomba type dancing,
Yeah.
as opposed to like that is like more about like fun and like energy as opposed to like sensual. Like it's all about the connection.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true. They're definitely the styles and just depending on the songs or
mhm,
whatever, that definitely plays its role
yeah.
in how you feel in the dance.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, but it's also not that. It's also like like I said, the perspective. Like her is just a dance as opposed to like someone like actually like trying to connect with
Mhm.
someone. Like in terms of like either it's friendship or like actually like trying to start a relationship with
Mhm.
someone. So it's just all about the perspective.
Okay, that's true. But yeah, definitely like again, that's just all the little things of like what you can hopefully perceive or get hints of like that may influence like oh whoever wants to take a shot. Again, most of the time it's us guys, but
Mhm.
I mean I definitely know some of our lady friends who are I definitely aren't shy. If they're attracted to somebody, they'll definitely go after somebody. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, great for them. I think that's really cool of
Mhm.
them. Um, but uh, but yeah, and then you know that kind of easing into hopefully like going into like proper dating and like getting to know
Mhm.
somebody again, maybe even starting off with like talks on the dance floor or like
Yeah.
just slightly off the dance floor. Like I know something we've like mentioned before is like that kind of like nice feeling when maybe you're talking to somebody you're like interested in and then somebody comes asks them for a dance and then you're like,
Mhm.
oh no, it's okay, I'm like in the middle of a conversation.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 It's all about the social
Mm,
cues because like knowing that someone's either like taking a break or like they're interested in like you or like what you're talking about, as opposed to like after the dance, like the girl is like she's visibly tired and like she's trying to like drink
yeah.
water and like take a rest, like she's on her phone, like or she just doesn't want to be
Hmm.
bothered. But then you're still trying to like talk to her, like just, sometimes you got to know like when to quit,
Yeah.
as opposed to like she actually like walks with you to like wherever you're going, or like you walk her, or like you walk her back to where she was
Hmm.
before, and then she continues to talk as opposed to like actually having someone or actually dancing with someone
Yeah,
else.
with the next
So
partner.
it's just hmm yeah. So just knowing like like when you can visibly see like someone's like interested in you or like whatever like you were talking about like with them before.
And that's true. And I mean, I hope that maybe even like again, since dancing is a lot of like nonverbal communication and just like understanding people's not even just the way they communicate, whether it's the way they move or even again, we can even talk during dancing, and that can be a good form of
Mhm.
communication through a dance. But yeah, hopefully people can translate that into when they're trying to actually date
Yeah.
somebody and understand that, yeah, all those social cues that you mentioned, those definitely do matter. And hopefully you're keeping an eye out for them.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, especially like if you're looking for someone, if you're looking for a specific someone, like like don't try and like creep on
Yeah.
them. Like there's one thing like at least what I do, like if I see someone that I really want to dance with, like I'll position like when the song is like starting to get towards the end, like I'll position myself like getting close to them so like I can ask them to dance, but as opposed to like just literally just like um, just like standing there and like standing there like staring, and then like once the song's over, like literally just grab her instead of like actually asking
Yeah.
her. So,
No, yeah, seriously. Like just having, again, just like any relationship or just any proper just manners, just everyone should uh just be respectful of everybody. If you know, if you're trying to ask somebody out, I mean, be clear about it if you are, and at least you save
yeah.
yourself the heartache of like quote
Hmm.
unquote, maybe wasting your time or maybe
Yeah.
even or just even putting yourself in an emotional like bad place. If it's somebody who's not really interested in you. So yeah, it's just good to be clear and good to be if you're interested in somebody, like go ahead, try
Hmm.
asking, and if it doesn't work out, it's okay. There's definitely a lot of other dancers you can probably get attracted to,
Hmm.
or non-dancers,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then going into like actually starting and actually going into dating. Like I know that's the other big thing too, which is why it's important to be a little clear about what you want, because definitely when people are out dating, not everyone's interested in getting into a committed relationship. Like you mentioned just a few moments ago, like maybe some people just came out of a relationship and they're not. really looking to date at all, or start any kind of relationship. Or even sometimes, again, some people maybe are just emotionally not in a good place, and for what, or even sometimes they may be, and they just don't want a serious relationship, and may choose to just hook up or have a fling. That kind of, it happens. And I'm perfectly okay. People can choose to do what they want as long as they're communicating about it. That's probably a big
Yeah,
problem when it comes to that issue.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you said, it's all about the communication. Like it's one thing like you want to get into the relationship, but if the other person doesn't, or like you guys don't have the same intentions, then that's when it gets ugly because like you might want to be like uh private relate not like exclusive relationship as opposed to like her like maybe like you just want to like hook up or like you just be friends with
Mhm.
benefits or just good friends like you need to establish those intentions, and then if you're once your intentions are established, that's when you can like draw lines and barriers like where like you're comfortable going or like doing like with this person.
Definitely. Again, yeah, those boundaries, like those are really important. And even just, again, just constantly communicating, because again, it really does suck. Like there's times where I've known of people who, who may be hooking up and stuff, or having a friends with benefit relationship, or whatever you want to call it. Um, and then one might eventually develop feelings, and that's important to establish, because then it's no longer healthy for that person. If the other person isn't interested in the same thing, then it's probably best to end it, or again, need to talk about those kind of things. um,
Yeah. It's the emotional investment that's what makes like the breakups in a relationship hard because
yeah.
like like some people get more emotionally invested either at either like a quicker rate
hmm
or like they're willing to like put more energy, effort, and like time into like the relationship as opposed to someone else who might not be like pursuing like a exclusive relationship as much as like you are.
hmm and that's why, like, again, yeah, it's it's hard, and that's definitely a tricky part of a relationship, because even, again, friends with benefit is a type of a relationship, and it's still very important to communicate whenever that kind of stuff does happen. Because, again, that honesty is just super important. Especially because, not even just that, like, especially for people who are maybe even uh, doing this with multiple people, it's good to know that kind of stuff, because even physical safety, like um, contracting any kind of like illness or disease, any STIs and stuff, like that's super important to be conscious of if someone's like doing anything with other people. But yeah, uh, that emotional stuff too, just like you were mentioning. Um, some people can really feel more, especially when they're doing physical stuff, like again hooking up, or just having sex. Like some people, it's a little not. It's like less emotional for them whenever they do it. For some, it's like always emotional, and somewhere in between. It's good to be clear. If you're not, if that's not something that you're willing to do, then tell somebody before you even start that. Like, that's, unless this is a relationship, I don't want to do it, or whatever.
Yeah. Like you said, it's all about the communication. Like if you know like you're ready, like if you're for one of those guys that's just trying to get your body count up, at least like
Yeah.
yeah, at least communicate to like your intentions. Like hey, I'm not looking for anything serious. Like this might be a one time that like it's probably just a one time thing, or like if you want like to be a regular thing, then communicate that.
Mhm.
But if you're just going around like if you're going around like just hoeing around and especially like if you're not doing it safely, then like then that's where the issues start to come up.
Yeah, and again, we just like any part of this community, like, again, anybody who's in it, I hope everyone's being respectful. We don't want anyone like kind of ruining our nice community, and so again, that kind of stuff, it's fine if you guys choose to do it. Just be clear about it, just so everyone is safe, and has a good time with whatever they choose to do. And the dating, again, this still falls into dating space, but yeah, I definitely agree with that, and just be clear. But then, yeah, again, for those people who want to do that, cool, that's great. But then, some people, again, want to move over into proper dating, and actually getting into a relationship, but even that can be tricky. And this is where, like, again, some of that differences lie with when you're a dancer and dating somebody who's in the dance scene and not in the dance scene. I know, again, I don't have any experience really dating people outside of the dance scene, but um, I know you have in the past, and it's I guess interesting to know. Like, I don't know if like some of the people you dated outside of dance scenes reacted differently with like you dancing, uh, or just being in the dance community. Because I know sometimes jealousy or just like like oh I don't want you dancing with certain people or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know if you have like some
Mhm.
interesting stories to share about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, uh, my first or the girlfriend that I was or the girl that I was with at the time when I first joined the community, like we definitely had like a lot of some underlying issues. One of them like just being just her like trusting me because like we were separated by a decent distance. She was up in Santa Barbara. I was down here like in the
Mm,
valley, which is like around just under like 100 miles. So it's not like readily like convenient to like see each
uh-huh.
other. So like like I told her like, hey, I'm going out with my cousin to like check out like this like social, and then first message I get, you better not be dancing with another girl. I'm like, ooh, ooh, that's
That's not
yeah,
that's not
because
how we learn.
that yeah, I'm like, but and like with her, like she was a raver and I wasn't, so like just like her, I think her conception of like me dancing with someone else is like oh I'm just gonna be like grinding up on this
Hmm.
girl and like trying to like get in her pants and stuff, as opposed to like if you actually go to like a social, you see people like not all the time everyone's in close position, most of the time like spinning their partner, as opposed to like just like being half naked like in the desert somewhere like or on a
Yeah.
racetrack and like yeah.
No. Yeah.
And and completely sober too, not on anything.
Yeah, because I mean, again, you're in the early stages of dancing. You're trying to focus on just getting better at the dance than, you know, even like thinking about looking at somebody else or whatever. Like again, we have the
Yeah,
issue of like constantly looking even at our own feet, not even our partner when we're first dancing.
yeah, exactly. But like it just all depends on your partner. Like yeah, she had a lot of trust issues with me because of like the distance and like and then just uh just the long hours that we don't talk to each other, because that was back when I was playing baseball. So I I'd be gone like at a game for, like away for like 5 hours because like the warming up, the setting up the field, playing the actual game, which is like 3 hours, and then like the breaking down the field, after or like the post game meeting.
Mm.
So then like just all that on top of like be, on top of like all my schoolwork, like it wasn't like optimal to like see each other like like every week.
Hmm.
uh, but as opposed to like when I got out of the relationship, because all that was going
Yeah.
on. But like another girl that I was dating, like while still in the scene, like she knew like how like the community is, like it's not like some like raunchy club that I go to like
Yeah.
to meet girls, but it's all about the communication. Like I would tell her like hey, like I'm going to this event, I'm going like with like the like so and like all that, like I'm gonna be here from like this time to this time, probably leaving like around this time and like coming back at this time. So and she understood all of that. So it was just all about like uh, the trust in your relationship as well as your communication skills. Because
Hmm.
if because like for the most part, like I was just telling her like I was just being like straightforward and like hey, I'm going to this event and I'm going to be doing this, and then just so that they can know like what exactly I'm doing, and like not being secretive of anything, like oh wait, I'm going to sneak out like 10 o'clock at night and come back at 5 in the morning
Yeah.
and not tell you at all.
Yeah. No, and that's definitely true. And again, that as much as like that is definitely probably a more common issue that I've kind of heard people mention dating non-dancers. It still more or less kind of even happens with dancers. Like I know I've had some friends who have struggled to like be allowed to go out dancing on their own because of like similar jealousies. Like, oh, I don't want you to go just dancing in general because you like dancing close bachata, or even just specifically like I don't want you going to this venue because you dance with this person a lot and I don't trust her or him or whatever. And I,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of trust, if it's not there, then it hurts every relationship, even dancer relationships.
Yeah. 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 Like, just to trust, like but if you're having this many trust issues, like, and especially if you're into dancing, you see someone like dancing like pretty sensually with someone doesn't like automatically mean that something's happening. It just maybe they're feeling the song, or like they just have like a great connection, or they're feeling the music. So it does just because like they're dancing like close and sensually doesn't mean like anything's going on between them.
Yeah.
But if you're in the dancing and like you're not ready to see like your partner, or that you're in a relationship with, like dancing with someone like that, then you're not ready for a relationship then.
Yeah, or with the dancer and stuff. And again,
Mhm.
those boundaries are just interesting, just because again, they can happen to anybody, even dancers. And I've kind of had to deal with that even in my relationships, where um, sometimes it can make your partner feel a little uncomfortable with you being so close. And that's something that kind of has to be addressed, because uh, again, that kind of goes back to trust, and you're wondering like, why do you like dancing like that? Um, versus like for me, when I see it, and whenever I've seen my partners dance really close to somebody, I'm just like, wow, they look really great. I love seeing you dance like that. Like it's just a perspective thing. Like I know, like the dance doesn't mean anything, and if they do that kind of dancing, then I'm just like, that's I like it. That's cool. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't I don't trust them less for that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I had the same perspective. Like whenever I see like Eileen
Yeah.
dancing, and she's dancing with some other dude, and I see that like damn, she looks really good doing that. Like maybe like, and she did a move. Ooh, like maybe I might cop that move.
I know, right? uh, but yeah, no, and that's great when we have like more of like that, just like trust. And no, and if there isn't, it's good to be clear about that, because um, you know, I always feel like people should, in any relationship, again, dancing, non-dancers, or even friendships and things, like again, the more honest, the more communication, the more anything comes up that's an issue, uh, bring it up. Like that's, you can always just talk it out. You can figure out why that's an issue, and if it's something that's really non-negotiable, then either maybe set a specific boundary where you're not allowed to do certain things, or maybe this relationship isn't really working out, and maybe this might be one of maybe other issues that might lead you to think maybe it's not worth staying in. But good to be clear about that. Um, and then even with like that dancing stuff, like I know, uh, like it sucks. Like even if it's not a jealousy thing, like it kind of sometimes it stinks, like having to or wanting to go out dancing, and it maybe your partner doesn't want to do it for whatever reason, if they're tired or they have another event, and you just had to go on your own. Like maybe there's like sometimes that guilt. I don't know how much you feel it, but sometimes I feel guilty wanting to go out dancing and choosing to do so, um, when my partner doesn't want to go, not because of jealousy, but just because they can't go or they're busy or whatever.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that because there's one time I actually went to Unified by myself because Eileen was on the other side of the world in
Hmm.
Japan, and then I told her like, hey, I'm gonna go out dancing tonight, and she's like, without me, and then like sad face. I'm like, oh man, not like this.
uh, no, yeah, but I mean, like that one's the one that's understandable. Like, you shouldn't feel guilty for that.
Yeah,
She's not even around. She can't go if she
I-
wanted to.
yeah, yeah. But um, it's just like whatever you're comfortable with. Like, you have to be comfortable like with the venue, and like at least for me, I'm more comfortable like when I know I have friends going there, just because like I like dancing with my friends, and
Mhm.
then like I know I'll have a friend there to talk to. Like even though it is like easier to make friends like in the dancing, um it's just more like what you're comfortable
Yeah.
with, because like at least for me, like uh just like my own personal experiences at like Steven Steakhouse and stuff, like I personally would not choose to go there
Mhm.
based on just my own personal experiences.
No, yeah.
And yeah, same with Eileen, but like she'll like she would go to like the Salsa Libre event, because like that's our Northridge family, and then uh, as well as like like you know exactly like what you're getting there like when you go to that social.
Yeah, again, definitely that community that's there, whether it's just like dancing people you feel you run into a lot and you trust them, or you have a lot of your actual like friends that you go everywhere with, that can definitely make a big difference. And again, we have that benefit since we have partners. Like if we go out dancing, at the very least, we know we have one safe person to go to. But definitely, again, I don't want to like name any names, but uh, uh, definitely there are some venues, more than one, sometimes that I feel like I, we don't always feel the most comfortable going out dancing to because there are some people who, unfortunately do take advantage of people. Again, that whole consent thing, like it's not okay if you don't ask for permission, especially to touch somebody inappropriately on a spot that's inappropriate. Like again, I don't, I keep forgetting whether or not you've experienced it, but I definitely have like been grabbed like right in my ass, like in the middle of a dance, and I've had to tell the person like respectfully, like I'm sorry, but you can't touch me. I'm in a relationship. That's not okay. Um, but yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing to think about, especially when somebody's going alone. Like it may not even necessarily be that not trusting your partner, just not trusting the people who are there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because yeah, just personal experience and like if you like experience it enough times, like yeah, like this place is like not for
Yeah.
me. Like, 'cause, like at least like my main concern is like uh just the friendliness of people there
Mm,
because that's why I love the college scene so much because everyone there is like uh open to dancing with whoever they want
mm,
as opposed to like dancing with someone with like affiliation or like some sort of like merit.
mm. No, and that's fair, and that's right, and that's another big thing too. Like again, like especially when you're in a relationship and like there's some people you just like luckily there's a little bit more of a room to like okay this means like nothing, they're a close friend of ours, we like they know that nothing bad will happen, either you or them or whatever, and just in general it's fun when you have your friends and stuff around,
Yeah.
but yeah, I understand some of the concerns as far as like uh going out and dancing, and trying to stick with your partner as much as you can, because obviously that's always the best. But at the same time, also understanding that not just even in dance, but just in general in your relationship, I feel like people should always still be their own individual self. If somebody wants to do something one night, and the other person wants to do something another night, like again, it could be it's a different hobby, and someone wants to go dancing. You should feel comfortable enough to do that. Like it's okay, you go have your fun. I'll go ahead and have my fun.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I just feel bad sometimes because Eileen just has more of a drive to go out dancing,
Mm,
and like me, like I prefer doing like more athletic stuff, like as opposed to
mm,
dancing. Like there's one time I went to like a company picnic, and then like we were playing kickball and
mm,
stuff, and might have gone a little too hard because like we were supposed to go to like Latin Motion that
mhm.
day, and then like when we got back to our apartment like to like start getting ready and stuff, I'm like, ow, my knee really hurts. And then she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't think I should go out dancing. And then I could just see like she really wanted to go out dancing that night, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
But I mean, she didn't go either, like by herself though.
No, because like the main thing is like that's far for us because that was like
That's right.
because yeah, because we're coming from Northridge, and it's just more comfortable going with someone at least like because for us it was like 50 or so miles away. So then just being comfortable, just being like comfortable with like hey, like this person's like here to keep me awake
Yeah.
like while I'm driving back, because like by no means do socials end early
Yeah.
nowadays.
Or at least when we had them, again, still stuck
Yeah.
stuck indoors right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely, I definitely understand it. Like I know, my girlfriend Sam was also like, she's also somebody who like I feel a little like not safe if she goes by herself sometimes driving, and I try to drive her around as much as I can just because I know she definitely is somebody who gets sleepy behind the wheel. Um, but I definitely agree with the whole like having different drives as far as like who wants to dance more. It's opposite for me and Sam though. I like to
Yeah.
definitely be like more like Eileen, and I try to go dancing as much as I can. and as for as long as I can. Like again, I'm definitely someone who stays till the end, versus like Sam, who's like, okay, yeah, I want to dance, but it's like 2 a.m. I'm done. I don't care that this goes till 4. I'm tired. I want to go home. And
Yeah.
so I definitely understand. Like it's weird and it stinks when you don't really match um, both
Mhm,
your drive for dancing and or even like the
mhm.
styles. And like I think you've mentioned at least one nice thing about you and Eileen, you definitely do match your dancing style. So you feel like a really good connection when you do dance, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually like that's actually like what drove our relationship forward because like
Mm,
what like my first dance with her well she always gives me shit for it, but she was always like yeah, when our first dance you weren't smiling at all or doing anything, so I thought like I was doing bad. But from my perspective, I came from work, so like this that salsa libre social like was around like December, so so it was like the day I had like a Christmas party at
mm,
work, so like I wasn't and it was cold, so all I had was like my Christmas sweater, which is very thin.
yes.
So like when I got to the social, like I'm just wearing like my Christmas sweater, like and like just a normal shirt and like jeans. So when I get in there, I'm freaking freezing. Like my nose is still running a little bit. So like when I dance with her, like it was just like a warm dance, like okay, let's get moving, let's get warm and
Yeah.
everything. And like like most of the time because like from baseball, uh, it's a pretty emotionless sport. Like you can't like it's very hard to like play from emotion.
Yeah.
So I just have natural like RBF. So like when I dance, yeah. So like when I was dancing with her, like I might not have noticed. Like I might have been doing cool things, but you would think that like what's this dude's issue?
I forgot. I forget.
Yeah.
Your face has definitely like gotten a lot softer over the years, but I
Hmm.
forget. Yeah, when you first started dancing, you definitely had more of
Yeah.
a stone cold
Yeah.
face.
Still. Yeah. Yeah. So like, but as like both me like socially and physically started to warm up, I definitely became like a lot looser.
Mm,
And then like later in the day, like I asked her to dance. Later that night, I asked her to dance again, and like I showed more emotion. But then like we just had like that great chemistry. So like each dance would get like more and more fun. Like we'd be smiling a lot, laughing a lot. Like even if I made a mistake, she'd like it just be like us busting up
mhm.
laughing. And it got to the point like I finished the dance with her next, and like right after the song ends, like you want to dance another one? I'm like, oh yeah, let's
Yep.
go. Yeah, and then like I mentioned earlier, like with like with the social cues, like after like we danced like 3 songs in a row, like we both needed a break, so like we walked over to like have a seat and like drink water and
Mm.
stuff, and then someone actually came over and asked her to dance, like no, no thank you, like I'm talking to her, like oh, I'm like hmm. I'm like, okay, like I'm getting special attention.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and that's great and stuff. Like I know I've definitely have a good connection with Sam, but unfortunately for us, it's like a little bit like hit and miss. Like it's not as consistent for us, and that's like something like we've always like worked a little harder on improving our connection over time. Sometimes it just kind of pops up randomly, and we're just like, hey, that was like a really great dance. But I feel like a lot for us at least, we struggle a little bit to like really match our like flow or how we like dance. So it can get a little bit like again, we're very conscious of it, so we try to improve it as much as we can, and we'll communicate like, oh, what hopefully works better and when we dance together. But definitely that's kind of like super important. Not only just like having your partner, but hopefully trying to match them and having the best dances you can, especially with them, because you would definitely want to. Um, but yeah, no, and then definitely and then even with them, like luckily at least you have like a little more. It's an easier grace of like even having very explicit, like, oh, what comfortable things you feel like even doing on the dance floor. Like, just because you're dating, that doesn't mean you can do all the sexy things on the dance floor, because that just might not be your styles together. Versus, I know some of the people who date in the dance scene, then like they're like getting really really close and having really like visually like sensual looking dances, which is great. Like that's just the way they dance. But I think it's great to be able to communicate that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I know one. one interesting thing, I guess, leading, or I definitely want to note about just dating in general, because this is more of the harder issue of like dating. It's something that doesn't come up too often as far as um, uh, at least some of our friends and stuff. But I know it's definitely an issue in the dance scene, and just dating in general is like, you know, when maybe sometimes those jealousies and issues and stuff do eventually merit some attention because sometimes cheating does happen and it's unfortunate. It stinks. Uh, I've definitely had some experience with that kind of stuff, and and it stinks. Like whenever that happens, it's it could be just a sign of like kind of sometimes being a little less thoughtful about your partner, and again choosing to chase your own fun at the expense of your partner, or it can sometimes happen because of being unhappy. And because I've definitely talked to others also about their experience with stuff like this, and it can be uh, sometimes they're just in a relationship that's just super unhappy, and sometimes they choose to take it out in a different way. And I guess not even necessarily sometimes as a malicious thought. It's just kind of a situation they subconsciously maybe lead themselves into because they're not addressing real big issues with their partner. Um, I don't know how much you have seen, or even what are your even thoughts about like what could potentially be going on there, and like what you would feel or think of if that were to ever, like for example, happen to you.
Um, I feel like it cheat like you said, like it just cheating has like a lot of underlying issues. Like it's just not just one specific reason. But like what you said about being unhappy, like it's either like they're not happy with the relationship, or like it's just like uh they're not happy with like the sexual part of it. Like maybe like they're not like just to be blunt with it, it's just not good sex.
Yeah,
So like they yeah, so yeah, because at least from well, not my own personal experience, but like from what I've seen like through others, especially like when I was playing baseball, like almost all my teammates cheated on their
mm,
girlfriends, and yeah, but it was just because like there's always like a hotter girl that they can like bang.
yeah. It's that
Yeah.
wandering eye and stuff that's kind of difficult to get
Hmm.
rid of. Because I mean, again,
Yeah.
we can just naturally be attracted to another person, but um, I guess it's very clear to speak those kind of issues. Like again, if sex isn't good, just like dancing, work together to make that better. Or if there's other underlying issues of like why you're not happy with the relationship that could lead to that, it's very important to address it before obviously it gets to that. Because um, I mean, I've seen people who've managed to get and fix their relationships past even those kind of issues. And again, cheating can be any spectrum, and that's the other big thing I want to be clear. It doesn't always mean like sex. It doesn't have to get that far. It can literally be um, like actually like having some kind of like intention through your communication with another person if that's not explicitly like okay in your relationship, or obviously kissing, or doing any kind of inappropriate touching if that's not okay. And again, that's non-consensual things. Like again, people can be in non-monogamous relationships, and that's okay because you communicate it. It's okay. You can touch another person even if you're in a relationship. But I mean, when it's explicitly said, this isn't okay. You haven't talked about it. You haven't okayed it with your partner. That that's an issue, and that really should be addressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, difficult thing. There's not really much that we can really bring into that, and even then, actually, I guess one last thing is just whenever that kind of stuff happens, it's tough to get through because there's a lot of emotional hurt. There's a lot of all that stuff. Uh, it's hard to really discuss the really really bad side of the relationship. Especially the worse it gets, the more difficult it can be to talk about.
Mm.
Which is why again it's really important. Be honest with your partner. Be honest with yourself. If there's issues that you're not happy with in your relationship, uh, address them as early as possible, because that's something that can definitely be avoided. Um, at least if you're the one making the action. If someone obviously tries to break your boundaries, that's a different thing with the other person about consent. But at least on your half, and do as much as you can, because obviously your partner should matter most. But
Yeah.
yeah, um, I guess again, branching into that and just kind of moving into, I guess, more of that, um, uh, when terrible things like that happen, or maybe you realize the relationship isn't uh, the best for you. Sometimes it's just best to end the relationship and kind of break up, and even that is its own um, challenges and hurdles as far as like what we have to face. Like one big thing I know, it's probably the main thing that we see as dancers is just even, if we dated somebody in the dance community, then it can sometimes be a little tricky wanting to go out dancing to certain places because you maybe depending on how the relationship ended, if it was an unhappy ending, then you don't want to go to a certain venue or place or whatever because you just don't want to see them very much anymore. Um, but I don't know. I know for you, it's not something you or I have to really address because our partners have kind of live currently. Our
Mhm.
exes live further away from us than where we currently
Mhm.
like to dance.
Yeah. Yeah. Like where that issue um, is mostly like apparent is like when you actually like integrated them like into your friend
Mm-hmm.
circle. Yeah, because like one of the girls that I did date, she became really good friends with like my friends over at Cal Poly
Mm-hmm.
Pomona, and then so then like when I so like just being able to like go out and like support like all my friends there, and then she's there, and then I can definitely tell like there was like some sort of tension between us because like I thought that we were okay because like she actually was willing to dance with me, but then like I felt like the rigidity, like she didn't want like any close close moves. Anytime I just get into like close position just to do a
Mm-hmm.
move, like I could feel the tension. Like hey, like this is as far as like you can go, and like okay. and then and then I think like another turning point was like when I came like with Eileen, and then next next thing you know, like I see her like she's like visibly like avoiding me, and then next thing you know, like she just disappears. I'm like, okay,
Not okay.
I guess like yeah.
Yeah, and that's tough because again, you wouldn't have thought that, or it was like that bad, especially because you were still dancing together. And then that can be difficult. I know there's people who either have like kind of like talked to or dated or whatever that sometimes are no longer okay with dancing with me, either close or even at all, and that's that's okay. Like everyone kind of processes their breakups and their relationships differently. It's definitely good to verbalize it if it is an issue. Like I definitely would um, I definitely would want somebody to tell me if they don't feel comfortable dancing with me anymore after that kind of stuff because I want to respect them and I want to respect their boundaries. If it's not something they feel comfortable with doing anymore, then I'll still like to be respectful and say hello, but like
Yeah.
maybe that's the most it can
Yeah.
be because again,
Mhm.
respect boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all adults here. Like we're not here to step on anyone's toes. Like as long as like you present it like respectfully, like hey, I know, like I know we didn't end up well, but like out of respect for me, like I don't want to dance with you. I'm like okay, I understand that. But if you come off like standoffish, like hey, like because you did this, like I'm not gonna dance with you anymore, and then like I'm gonna tell like all my friends like it's not okay to dance with you. I'm like okay, then that's where an issue like can arise.
Yeah, yeah, that is difficult. Like again, that like you mentioned, like that whole friend group thing is it's hard. Like, and that sucks because like I know for me, and you could probably agree with me that I would never want like at the end of the relationship, at least um if it ended as best as it could, I would definitely not want to have my friends or like try to tell my friends not to ever talk to this person or whatever. I'd want them to feel comfortable because I'd hope that the people I'm seeing and dating are good people, and even if we are not in talking terms, they were hopefully a good enough person. And if they want to talk to them or be friends with them, I'd hope they feel comfortable to do that.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, because your friendship was your friendship is with you and my partner, not like us as a
Yeah.
package. So like it so I might not be okay with them, but you're okay with them, so it's okay to be friends. And like I said, I don't want my friends to make a decision like who they want to be friends with.
Yeah, that's tough to put on anybody, and so that's why like that always gets really murky, and I don't really like it. But yeah, no, seriously, uh, uh, like I know, but still, like it's good even as a friend of somebody who's gone through a breakup. Like we have some friends who have dated in the past and are no longer dating, and we always have to kind of float that ground and sometimes even explicitly like ask some of our friends like, hey, is it okay if I still talk to this person? Because maybe sometimes one friendship does matter more, and it sucks if you really do have to make a choice, but when
Yeah,
it's avoidable and you can communicate and like, hey, is it okay? Okay, cool. I'll still talk to this person.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It all comes back to communication. Like at least for me, like if like let's just say like with like I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but like if me and Eileen were to split up, I'd be like hey, like you all were friends with her like before, like or most of you were like all friends with friends with her like before like me and her got together. It's okay to be friends. Like I would like go I would message like probably like all my friends that like I integrated her
Yeah.
with. And like hey, like just because like we're not together doesn't mean you could be friends. Like or like you have to choose like between me and her.
Yeah, yeah. And I know, like, definitely for me, I definitely have some experience with this because even my current partner, Sam, we broke up once, and that was definitely something I had to. I tried to verbalize as much as I could to our friends because again, she was integrated into all of us,
Yeah,
or she was even a friend with all of us even before we were dating.
yeah,
And so I definitely made clear during that time that I wanted everyone to remain friends with her as much as they could if they wanted to, because that shouldn't I didn't want to affect that she was a wonderful person. And even during that time, like I'm like, no, I don't want you to do that. That's I would never feel right in my conscience to tell
yeah,
people not to talk to her. But
yeah.
um, but yeah, and then even then, like actually going into the whole like not visiting certain venues and stuff like that I think that breakup with her taught me a lot. Is even with like even getting that mentality, sometimes thinking like, oh, I don't want to go to a certain place just because I don't want to see this person. Sometimes it can. I noticed that I sometimes chose not to go to dance at certain places for their sake because I knew like my Sam.
Mm,
I had broken up with Sam, and unfortunately, she wasn't the in the best uh, uh, mindset. And again, I wanted to respect that she was still processing the breakup, and so I didn't want to cause any more extra harm if I didn't need to, even just by
mm,
physically being there. And so there were definitely times I chose not to go to certain places because I felt like that wasn't a healthy thing for me or a respectful thing for me to do. And so that was kind of an interesting thing that I learned when I went through that. But I don't know if there's any like interesting stuff like that that you've like learned from even like having
mm.
to ever interact with your exes or even running into them.
It's just I feel like it just all ties back to, like to the emotional side of like the relationship. It's just you just have to be like emotionally ready. Like for the most part, like I don't go to events like near their area, so like it was never that much of an issue for me. But like if I was going like into the area, like I would have to be like I myself had to be like mentally prepared. Like, okay, this person might be here, but like if I'm in like in a good enough like mental state, then like yeah, like I might be okay with like with seeing
Mhm.
them. But it just all depends on like where you are, like mentally and emotionally. Like if you just have to be like ready to like be able to see them.
Yeah.
But if you're not ready, then like take as much time as you need to like to be okay.
Yeah, and again, it is everyone's unique process of like getting through those emotions and stuff. I definitely encourage anybody who deals with a breakup to, you know, as much as you're able to, because again, it's a difficult time, to process it as quickly as you can. Try to address what um, were the issues that happened and try to see if you can get rid of some of that um, negative emotion and things that you have lingering in your heart. Past the relationship because again it's not healthy for you to hold on to any of that um, but yeah still like I would hope as long as it hopefully didn't end in like again something really bad like cheating or anything like that that you could hopefully one day just like see your partner and or your ex and not have any like roll like negative sentiments out of it, and even hopefully like just be past it and be happy for them. That's actually something for me. Like I don't see my ex very often because she doesn't live here in California anymore. But
Mm.
um, I'm definitely and I feel like both of us are in a healthier space that we get to see each other, even dancing with our new partners and stuff, or if she has a new partner, then it would definitely not bother me. I would, if anything, I'd be
Yeah.
happy. Like, oh yeah, you have something new, something exciting going on, and I'm happy for you. Not like, oh, like any kind of weird murkiness.
Yeah.
And I hope that everyone can strive for that to have a mental or a good mental perspective after a breakup.
Mm. Yeah, and it also goes back to the intentions. Like, if you're like, you also shouldn't be in a relationship if you're with this person just to get back at your ex.
Yes, no, yeah, that's never
Yeah.
okay. Um, yeah, no, seriously, if you're don't waste, don't hurt somebody. Don't hurt two people at the same time. You hurt one
Yeah.
person by being
Hmm.
with them because you're only trying to hurt another person. That's just never okay.
Yeah.
Uh, be mindful. People are people. They have their emotions.
Yeah.
Don't use people.
Hmm.
Um, again, communicate that kind of stuff. Process any negative stuff you're dealing with. It's really, really important. Um, but uh, but yeah, no, seriously, and uh, yeah, I just dating. It's difficult, and I'm sure there's like maybe even more different scenarios or different issues that can come up. But I mean, this is as far as I know. Again, I'm somebody who's like not really well versed in dating. I've only had two partners, and they were both dancers
Hmm.
because I grew up being very shy and very repressed and not having a lot
Yeah.
of courage. Uh, Surprisingly, for anybody who really knows me or like has seen me in the dance community and doing all this stuff where like it takes a lot of courage to put myself out there, but I'm I'm only learning to be better. And if anything, like I have to thank my partner. Um, and actually, that's a nice note to kind of end on. Uh, I think it's really great to have a good partner with you, dancing or not, because I feel like the best thing they can do is to add more value to your life. Not just in happiness, but in helping you grow as a better person, as the best person you can be.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Just with relationship, like just all intentions uh should be communicated with, and also like all the boundaries. So like, not only can you like be respectful to the person, but you can also like either you can grow together, or you can like grow to overcome like certain boundaries because of past
Mm.
experiences.
And that's always interesting, which is why I think communication is so important. Like even like my I don't know how dissimilar you and Eileen are, but definitely me and Sam. There's some ideas and thoughts that are just personal views that we we kind of grew into having, and I think because of us meeting each other and talking to each other, we've like learned to be more open with our thoughts and how we view just even our values and the world, because of those differences, and we've kind of learned to grow and overcome some of those things, like you mentioned. It
Mhm.
is important, and that does
Yeah,
help.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It also depends on how much you want it. Like you guys obviously want it, because if you guys have like, obviously, like if you guys have opposing like ideals or like thoughts on certain things like that, that also might be a deciding factor, like why someone doesn't want to get in a relationship.
Hmm.
As opposed to like me and Eileen, we do have very similar ideals in terms of like we both like practice the same religion, even though we don't practice that much, but we still like have the same ideals in terms of like family, friends, and like respect and
Hmm.
all that. So like it definitely made it easier for us, but like for you guys with opposing stuff, that shows even more that you guys actually really want to be in a relationship
Yeah,
together.
because it's definitely more difficult. I can definitely say that it's definitely more difficult. But definitely the success that we've had with our relationship, even yeah, you're right, shows we were really trying. This is purposeful, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that purpose definitely matters. So yes, for people who are dating, I hope it's really what you want, because definitely when you really really work hard for it because you want it, it shows, and it's a great feeling when it all works out great. But yeah,
Yeah.
seriously, I'm this is definitely again a discussion that needs more input. It needs more people to let us know more about this. I know I see Brandon, you're not much of a social media guy, so obviously I wouldn't say everyone bother Brandon about all this relationship stuff, but
Yeah.
definitely anybody who's listening and watching, if you guys can send me or like anywhere you see this that you can leave a comment on, share your thoughts. I want to know your experiences about dancing. Uh, and so like I don't know if you actually this is a good question that I don't know if you want to give an additional question for people to put for this video, but I feel like a good question that I would like to leave off is what is your experience with dating? What both dating on and off the dance floor? Like I want to know more. Like what kind of relate again, even just like not even if it's not a straight one, or you know, if it's an LGBTQ style relationship, you know, you're dating same sex, different sex, or even choose someone who chooses not to date. Like how, what are the experiences you have? Like it's all very different from us, and even people who are in even a heterosexual relationship. Uh, Even then, still share your experiences because it they all differ because we all have different values. So I don't know if you want to, if you think there's anything else they can tack onto that, Brandon, for the question.
Um. Uh. My question would just be like, we talked about this on camera, but like, just what are your what are your intentions for dancing, and like, are you still dancing for those same intentions like when you first started?
That's true. Yeah, because again, yeah, some people, again, some of us get into it because we want to see if we can meet people, and that definitely changed for me. I was I was
Yeah.
definitely trying to find somebody. But yes, definitely let us know all about this. We'd really love to hear your input. Again, thank you again to Brandon for
Yeah.
agreeing to have this conversation with me and
Yeah.
starting it, even if it's more of a tricky one.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And also, like, this is just all our own opinions and like own past experiences. None of this is black and white. If you want like us to discuss anything further, like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna put my handle up there. So if you want to ask me like a question, or like tell me like, hey, like, I don't agree with like what you said, like, if you want to DM me on Instagram, just let me know that you heard this from like the Sonrisa Dance podcast, and then I'll happily like talk to you about it.
Oh, well, that's great. And so, yes, I guess then, yes, reach out to him if you feel comfortable enough to ask him. But yes, definitely for me,
Yeah.
always you can feel free to message me either on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me, or again, just leave it in the comments. I'd love to get back to you guys about any kind of perspective or questions you may have about dating. That's a great conversation always. But yes, again, thank you again, Brandon, for being a part of this. Thank you, everyone else, for listening to this. I hope we can add more to this conversation because, again, this is just the tip of the iceberg for this. And again, as soon as we're all able to actually finally meet up on the dance floor, we'll see you guys on the dance floor. All right, guys? All right. Later, guys.